wants to be heard. But I realized that the best way to be heard is to listen.
When you smile at someone, you're instantly letting them know, I'm not a threat. Hey guys, welcome to the show. Excited to be here today. Today we have awesome guests, my childhood role model and big brother, DJ Lebaron. DJ, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Gus. Nice to be here, man.
I'm really excited today. We were talking about different conversations and different topics that we could make a podcast about. And one of my favorite topics is they came up with my brother DJ was the art of communication. So I'm a big believer that communication is key in all aspects of life to be able to create a great team with your business, to be able to have a great relationship with your family and your friends, within even your own faith, right? Being able to have a good communication is so important on so many levels. And I've been a really big fan of DJ's work when it comes to communication. I believe he's been somebody that's been able to master it on so many levels. So I would love to get your take on how is it that you're able to implement this principle on the level that you have been in your life.
Well, first of all, I want to say I've mastered it because that's nearly impossible. I don't think anybody's ever mastered it, but it has been one of my like passions, I would say, like pretty much my whole life, especially in my adult life, to just like to try to understand people. Like I'm really, really curious and generous as a person. So I'm very interested in like how people think and why they think with the way they do, and how they come about with the ideas that they have, right? So I've always tried to study it. I've always tried to study like, how do I talk to this person? How do I communicate? And one of the things I realized more than anything that communication is mostly listening, and we're kind of terrible at listening mostly. You know what I mean? Most conversations, like if you just study people, everybody's trying to talk over each other, and nobody's paying attention. Everybody just wants to be heard. But I realized that the best way to be heard is to listen. Is you need to connect with people first of all, and just listening to what they have to say, and paying attention and kind of feeding off that. I think that's been like the key number one as far as like my development, as far as like having conversations and developing that part of myself, as far as like communicating with people, just listening. It's super, super important.
But one of the things that I struggle with when I'm trying to form communication and start a conversation with somebody, say you're in a room, whether it's a business meeting or just a gathering, a social gathering, how do you keep the conversation going and how do you keep it interesting? So that's one of the things that I struggle with, is that I'll start a conversation, and that's probably 50% of it, but keeping it going. What are some of the tactics that you use?
It's a challenge, especially when there's people that are somewhat hesitant. Like there's not a lot of people don't like to share things, share their feelings, and a lot of people are somewhat closed. So how do you open that up, right? And it starts with your presence, body language. Like you gotta be non-threatening. You gotta woken up with a smile. You gotta make some good eye contact. Hold your contact for a couple seconds, to where you don't want to overdo it because it just becomes a little bit threatening, maybe. You know what I mean? So there's like little balances, but it starts with you walking in a room and just you being in the presence of somebody else. Like if you want to have these conversations, they've already noticed you since before you start talking to them, right? So they're looking at you like, hey, is this guy a threat? Does he what's his demeanor, right? So especially like in a new crowd, or if I'm trying to develop this, you want to start off by having a friendly approach, like just kind of diffusing the situation of any type of negativity. When you meet people, you greet them with a smile, you shake their hand, that's the number one step. So by the time you come around to having a conversation with them, that you've already had somewhat of a intro of, they've already have an idea about you, in a sense, right? They're like, whoa, Well, Gustavo just walked in here and he looks a little bit uptight right now. He's a little stressed out. People pick up on that. We're very, very intuitive as humans, right? So the first step is just always try to carry yourself in a way to where you're approachable. The first,
not feeling like a threat. Yeah,
you have to be approachable.
Yeah.
I mean, like we could all look at a crowd of people. Like say there's four people standing over there, and if you study them for a few seconds, you kind of like you could realize like I might be able to talk to this person more than this person, right?
Yeah, and I like what you said. Like,
You know what I'm saying?
if somebody seems like they're stressed out, or they're overthinking something, like nobody wants to go talk to that person. Like I think looks like he has a lot of problems over there. But if somebody, like you said, somebody's smiling, somebody's showing more of the emotion, like
Exactly.
more opening.
So that's key. Just going into any conversation, and just imagine yourself at a party when you're a teenager. Maybe you're 15, 16, right? And there's different groups of people, and you're not sure you're fitting in. You're like you kind of start looking around, like who can I talk to? Like where do I fit in? Where's my little group? And you're gonna we're looking for approachability, like people that are nice, people that I could talk to, like who the fun people are, like who is gonna be nice to me. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be talking to the jerk that's gonna tell me, hey, get the fuck out of my party. You know what I mean? So that's number one as going into it, and I try to practice this all the time. Like I'll go into a Home Depot and like, talk to the guys like this is an opportunity to practice. For me, that's how I look at it. Like I don't know this person. Like how do I approach this? Like, and there's no like set rules, but it's just in general, you got to be approachable and just start a conversation. It's like, hey, how's your day going? Anything interesting happening today? Or what's the coolest thing that happened at Home Depot today? And they're like, it's kind of an unusual question, right? They're like, well, this weird guy came in today and was asking for this, or whatever. You know, you want to ask things that are a little bit out of the ordinary. You don't ever want to start with, oh, where are you from? What do you do? It's like this, you know, it's just such generic stuff. It just, you see that every day. And
well, what are some of the questions that you ask when you like top three that you go to?
You kind of gotta wing it, you know. Like I don't have like these specific
is it a
questions.
Compliment? Like, is it a compliment? Something that you see on there?
You can never go wrong with compliments. You know what I mean? It's like, especially like some people say, hey, I like that hat you're wearing. It's pretty cool, okay? Or whatever. Just like a little icebreaker. And it just kind of develops from there, you know what I mean? And then you start kind of like picking up on little subtle details, and like this guy doesn't really want to talk to me, so I might want to ask him a different question, maybe more professional, or it's like something about work related, and then you kind of start breaking it down a little bit. But you realize that every person is different. You got to approach every situation according to like the feedback you're getting, you know what I mean? And if you pay attention, once they start talking, and then they realize that they could trust you in a sense, and they're okay to open up to you a little bit, and then they start feeding off that.
That's good.
So it kind of opens itself up if you start with the right principles. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the right one with key ones that you said is letting them know that you're not a threat. Like, hey, I'm here, and I actually want to have a conversation with you.
Like if I walk into a place and I got a white beater shirt on and I'm freaking walking like this, I was like who's gonna want to talk to me, right? Like they're probably running away from me.
Your mannerism and all the little
that's
things.
100%. Like just imagine yourself, you're a younger child, and like you're vulnerable. You're looking for threats, like, hey, that guy might beat me up or whatever, you know. Like just in general, we're as humans, we're scanning for threats constantly. That's what we do. That's why we determine, like, oh, that guy looks like a bad deal, or this is a good deal. So you got to start with that approach. Like, hey, make yourself approachable, and just kind of break it down from there. And try not to ask like the standard common questions, like,
how was your day?
How was your weekend? I was like, you know what I mean? Or just
going through the
like
motions. They know it's not genuine. Like,
very nice outside
you're just being,
today, isn't it?
You're just being polite. You're not even being.
Honestly, like me personally, I hate small talk because it's just so common and so overused, and it's just, I mean, it's polite, and it's people use it in society as a politeness thing, but it just doesn't get you anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So those are some of the things that are really key. So I think one of the big key factors you said is smiling. That's really, because when you smile at someone, you're instantly letting them know I'm not a threat. Like,
we're happy. I'm not threatened, and I accept you. And like, hey, I accept you in my world, in my little circle, or whatever. So that's automatically that just brings their guard down. It's like, oh, seems like a nice person.
One of the things that somebody told me, actually, I think my life coach gave me this piece of advice, because I've brought this up a lot, and I believe what you said is very important, is that practice. And I find it interesting that you're finding every opportunity possible to practice as much as you can.
I do it with my kids all the time. It's like, um, I have a captive audience. These kids can't run away. So
You
if
don't
I'm
know.
talking to them, like I get to practice like how to approach them and how do I get their attention? You know what I mean? So to where they're actually listening to me because they have shorter attention spans as their kids, right? So it's really good tools to use, like people around you, even your wife or whatever, your kids, to practice those little details and how you approach things and the things you bring up. And
That's really interesting. I like that. One of the things that advice that they gave me one time, because I had this problem where starting the conversation is definitely 50% of it, but keeping it going. And one of the advices they gave me, and give me your thoughts on this, is she says, if you run out of things to say and you don't know what to say, just start talking about them. She says, people
yeah,
love to talk about
yeah,
themselves.
that's
And I
always,
thought that
it's
was a
always,
really
it's
good
always a good one.
tool. So I don't know, do you ever use that when you're ever?
No, I use it all the time. And then, well, as a general rule, you want to do 20% of the talking only.
Let them do it.
80-20.
Okay.
It's just it's another one of the 80-20 rules. I just automatically think I'd like to listen 80% more than what I talk. As a general rule, that's a pretty good rule.
And think about it, you could apply this to even when you're going to do a sales pitch, right? You're selling in your business, or you're trying to find a wife. You're talking to a girl. Right? That's girls love to be listened to, right? So you could apply it to to your relationship with your kids, with your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, your business. So this is a really cool tool to be able to use on just about everything you really do in life.
Yeah, and one thing that's helped me a lot, and I enjoy it, is just practicing. Like I'll go pick up a coffee in Panera in the morning as I start talking. Like, how can I start a conversation with this person? And
then you'll start seeing what works and what doesn't work, and you can probably start using it. Hey, this worked pretty good. It's like comedians do that all the time. They practice their jokes. They'll do it, and then they'll be like, that worked, that didn't work. So you're doing this with communication. Like, what worked on this person? What part of this conversation went well? Which ones didn't go well? That's very interesting. Not too many people do that.
And then you learn a lot of mistakes too. And like this didn't work, and they kind of shut the conversation down. So don't use that again. And it's just course correcting constantly. That's all it is. And how you have to have an interest in it, in which I do. I really like it. I really like talking to people.
What are some of the when you're talking about you haven't mastered it? That's pretty funny. But you're definitely done a lot better than most, in my opinion. What are some of the like influences you had on this, or books that you read, or podcasts that you listened to, that you feel like the audience can probably look towards for help on?
One thing that's helped me personally a lot is just increasing my vocabulary. And you and I were talking about this the other day. When I came out to the States when I was about around 15, I realized that my vocabulary was like seriously lacking. Like I came out of the colony, you know what I mean, and came out to the States, and I kept hearing all these words in English that I didn't understand. I was like, I thought I knew good English, but apparently I don't, So, and one of the things our father taught me, like one of the things I highly, highly remember, he's like, if you ever hear something you don't understand, ask what it is. Don't ever stay like in your mind like, oh, I don't know what that is, and just continue the conversation. Stop the conversation, ask, interrupt, like, hey, excuse me, like, what exactly does that word mean that you just mentioned? And sometimes you think like these people are gonna get annoyed because you're interrupting them. It's 100% the contrary. They realize that you're paying attention and that you're interested in the conversation. So they welcome it. They're like, oh, this means this word, it means this, and this why use it in this context. So that's going to give you one more tool for your vocabulary going forward. If you do that constantly, every time, every day, it builds up your vocabulary. And so that's really helped me with communication, just building up my vocabulary. Every time I hear something I don't understand, I try to stop what I'm doing and look into it. And check it out on my phone now that we have everything on your phone. But when I was a teenager, I used to carry a dictionary in my back pocket, like those little tiny ones. Every time I'd hear on the radio a word I didn't understand, I was like, look it up, look it up, look it up, look it up.
And
you increase 2 or 3 words a day for 30 years, it adds up,
Real quick. And by you being able to express yourself better and be able to articulate a conversation better, you're able to connect with people better.
Yeah.
So that connection is really important. But you don't have the words to be able to express what you're feeling. It's going to be hard for people to be able to make that connection.
Exactly. And then once you kind of start sorting it out, you got to practice it as well, because we have a lot of conversations in our mind.
I really like what you said there, because it's something that I don't believe I do enough. And I'm pretty sure people can relate to this, as being able to put it into practice. Because if you don't practice it,
when you set your mind to that, you realize you could practice it 20 times in a day. Like anywhere you go,
Even with your kids.
at a gas station,
Mhm.
with your kids, with anybody you run into, like even people you deal with every day, your workers even. Like you could change those conversations instead of having the normal conversation. You choose what direction to take those new conversations. You know what I
And
mean?
then make notes of it after you're done when you get back in your truck. Hey, I talked about this and this went really well and this went. And you
And
go,
one thing that's very, very important is to be genuinely interested, because you could kind of tell when people are just like asking you to kind of like just shuffle through it. You know what I mean? Like if you're having a conversation with somebody, they're like, "Oh yeah, well, where do you live, or what do you do?" And then they start talking to somebody else right away. They're like, "This guy's not even listening to me. Like, why would you ask me?" So that does
let's
happen.
go through the motions.
So my point is that you have to be really interested in actually, if you're talking to somebody, you're asking some questions, you're trying to bring a conversation, you got to be interested in what they're saying, and you have to, at the core, you have to be interested. If you're not, you're just not going to be that good at it. That makes
Great.
sense.
Yeah, those are some great tips. Is there anything else that you feel that the audience should know the
No,
art of communication? Some of the key factors that we might have missed.
just it's not a perfect science, you know. You just gotta practice it, and you gotta realize, like, what do I want to get out of these conversations? Some people aren't people, are people. You know what I mean? Like they don't like to talk to people that much. They don't like to be in crowds or talk to different people or new people. And if you do, then apply these things, and it'll definitely help you. You know what I mean? But you have to have a genuine interest in it, I think.
Great topic, guys. DJ, I want to really thank you for being here. I really love this conversation. I've been wanting to have it for a while. I think we've had it a
It's a
few
good
times.
start, man.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really helpful to a lot of the audience that struggle with this principle, right? The art of communication, how important it is in every aspect of your life. So I really want you guys to try to imply some of these tools in your life, and hopefully they can make it better. And thank you all for being here. We hope to see you guys on the next one. DJ, thanks for being here.
You got it.